Hey everybody, Jay Barino here, and welcome back to Super Metroid. Thanks for joining me today. We're on our quest to get all the items, reveal the whole map. You know the deal. No sequence breaking and minimal backtracking. Here pretty close to the beginning, only on video 2, so give me a break. We're still in Green Brinstar, in this pretty central location of it. But there's really nowhere else for us to go, so we're going to head towards our next mini-boss. These enemies charge right at you, and you can one-shot them with missiles, so better just let them fly right at you and kill them then. Alright, this is Spore Spawn. People will learn to sequence break just to avoid this encounter. It's slow and it's boring. It's not that long, but it feels long just because you have very little control over how long it takes. So you just want to lay as many missiles into him as you can when he's open. But you can't control when he opens up. So a lot of it is luck-based, with how many missiles you can land based on where he's opened up on the screen, how many spores might be blocking you. Okay, overall, not bad. If you can get him in like 5 cycles, I think that's pretty reasonable. Trying to get 2 missiles in there is good. 3 missiles, much better. But again, it really just depends on where he's open. Okay, he's moving faster now. Look out. Uh-oh. I found just crouching in the middle of the room is good because the hitboxes of these spores is very generous. So you can hit them even if they're right above you with a diagonal shot for the most part. And that was actually a very good spore spawn fight. I'm glad we got that second missile in there on the 4th cycle. So I'm talking about how he's annoying and people learn to sequence break him, but that was like 90 seconds worth of a fight. You love to see it. And let's jump down this fake tube here. Crumbly blocks, everyone's favorite in Metroids. Usually leading to a trap. It's when you touch the ground and they just evaporate and you fall into spikes or something. But in this case, it brings us to super missiles. Very good upgrade. They're missiles, but they're super. I think that means they do like 3 times the amount of damage. I think it's 3. It might be 5. It really depends on the game. And we can open these green hatches, and we can destroy these super missile blocks that are around the world in some places. And we'll head to the bottom left and grab a freebie missile tank as well. We're back in that central Brinstar room, but now we're at the bottom left. We got some obviously bombable blocks here right in the center as well. Which leads us down to another upgrade. Charge Beam. Charge Beam is very good. It does good damage. It does more damage than missiles, but it shoots much slower because you have to charge it up. You can also be interrupted when you're charging it. By the end of the game, our Charge Beam is going to do more damage than super missiles, but again, it's has a lot of downsides to it. So let's go ahead and just keep going. Oop, almost got hit there. And we have a very sneaky point of no return here. You can only open that from one side with the blue button. So we actually can't go back now. I think a lot of people wouldn't even realize that when they go through it. These green enemies are pretty predisposed to dropping super missiles, which is good. We need those right now to open the hatches. And that connects us to Red Brinstar. And we can't go up. We can't quite get up there. I mean, we could wall jump, but for now, for the purposes of this playthrough, we can't get up there. So we're going to go down through an area that's colloquially known as Red Tower. We got an energy recharge room here we don't need to use. So now we have 2 points of no return. We can't get back up Red Tower, nor can we get through the gate that's openable from the other side. And this area is pretty commonly traversed through the game. We're going to come through here multiple times because it's connected to a few different areas. We have this conspicuous glass tube here for later. For later. We'll head down the elevator to a new area. This is our first visit to Norfair. And similar to our first visit to Norfair in Zero Mission, we're here for like one thing, and then we're getting the heck out. There's also the new orange tube that you saw up there. We can't open the orange hatch just yet. Okay. We come down here for one item in here. Norfair's just a little too hot for Samus. She gets a little warm. She does not like it. So there we go. We got our high jump boots. They do exactly what it sounds like. You can jump, I think, twice as high. You have a lot more air maneuverability, which is good, but can also add to some challenge when you're doing tiny hops. For some reason, you have to kill that enemy to get out of this room. I don't know why. Love it or hate it, whatever the reasoning is, I like to try and figure out, like, oh, what were they thinking with this room? How did they think the player would stumble upon this? But in this case, I wonder, like, why did they have to kill the little fire guy to get out? I don't know. But that, hey, you know what? We're done with Norfair for now. Let's get out of here. It's scary down here. Now, rather than going to the left, we could get a really good beam upgrade, but we don't need it right now. We're going to be going that way later, so instead we're going to go to the right. You can see on the map there was a way to go, and now we can use high jump to get up here into Kraid's area. I think this is Kraid's area. I don't think he technically has his own area anymore. He got downgraded, I guess. Because this is still Brinstar, and it doesn't require an elevator to get over here. Okay, more chargy boys. There are some tiles to the right. We'll be getting those later when we come back here. And a save station. Okay, we got some space pirates down here. And everyone's favorite mini Kraid, fake Kraid, what have you. And that's a callback to the original Metroid in more ways than one. There was a fake Kraid in the original Metroid, but then also the Kraid boss in Metroid was about that size. So it's a nice little callback there. Let's go ahead and recharge our stuff. Handy, and it's checked off on the map. Okay, little baby hops, unknown soldier. We still don't know your story 30 years later, but you made it this far, brother. Okay, this is Kraid. He's the boss of Brinstar. And the big thing here is just paying attention to all the stuff flying around the screen that might knock you into spikes. That's the hardest thing to deal with. It's just, this stuff comes out of nowhere. And you gotta shoot him in the face to open up his mouth. And then hit him with, preferably a super missile. Whatever you can, really. One more should do it. One more missile should do it, actually. Alright, and that's Kraid. Can be a little tricky because you have to get your jumps just right to land those missiles in his mouth. And that leads to our next upgrade, the Various Suit. And there's no tooltip that tells you what this does. All you really know is Samus looks cooler. She's got new drip. She's looking good. But this allows us to traverse further into Norfair because we can survive hot rooms. Okay, baby jumps, baby jumps. We did it. Okay, and then Mini Kraid tends to give you super missiles back if you don't have any. And there's really not much else, or really anything else to do here, so we're just gonna leave. Though this hatch over here is now available for us. These frog enemies will jump and attach to you. You can get them off with a Morph Ball Bomb. And this energy tank is very strong. How could I have known, dude? It's a reward for beating Kraid. The hatch is flashing, so you're going to come in here. You can see on the minimap there's something in here. So I think the idea is they expected that you would have found it just by shooting around because you know something's in there and the room is relatively small. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure if that's what the thought was, but that's my guess. And we're going to head back to Norfair. Again, still not getting the beam upgrade to the left. We're going back that way later. Not a big deal. That's okay. It's going to be pretty soon. And now we can come into this hot room. And let's just make sure we jump up here and grab the map, because I do not plan on coming back to this room ever again. Same with this room. We'll grab what we need and then never look back. Okay, and then there's a casual missile in the wall down here. We technically have the equipment. It requires us to get this without any sort of tricks, but we do move really slow through the lava. Lava, acid, water, any liquid, we're going to move slow through. Okay, now this room, you're going to fall in the lava probably. All I can say is just go kind of fast to try and make it through. It's mostly the fireballs that are going to knock you in. But if you go fast enough, you might be able to get by them before they start shooting. I'm not so sure. Okay, overall not too bad. And we're at the infamous bubbles of Norfair. From the original Metroid, a lot of Norfair were these bubbles. And then randomly bombable blocks. If I had to guess, one thing a lot of people don't like about Super Metroid, probably a big turnoff, is there's so much of this, how could I have known, just randomly one single tile that's destructible by something random. You know, you get tools later in the game to find that stuff, and like down there, that was just a missile expansion, so it's not that big of a deal if you bypass it. But there are some required stuff where you're like, there's no way I would have guessed that that was there. But there are some subtle things that show you. And I'll try to point those out as we come across them. We have a room down here. This is just a straight-up enemy recharge room. Better than machine recharge rooms because these enemies will drop every type of ammunition. Missile recharge rooms, for example, do not fill your super missiles up, which is kind of a big deal. But these enemies come out 5 at a time, and you can just load up on whatever you need. Okay, this is another one of those rooms. It's just, you know, whatever you got to do to get through it. You don't really have to come back later. Just gonna bait out these fire lava boys so that we can jump over them. Now here, I don't know how you're expected to know that you can go underneath that and just go through it. It is a wall, but that's another one of those where I think maybe on the mini-map, it doesn't seem like it's the edge of the room, so you'd think maybe I can bomb it. But the lava's rising, so there's a little bit of a time element to it. You have to be careful when you go through doors as well. Your momentum carries, so if you're going quickly through, you might just get yeeted right into the lava, spikes, whatever. And red door is probably tempting, but we can't do anything on the other side of that. Red doors are usually indicative of something decent, maybe a save station, but like map station or an item. But in this case, we can't do anything in there just yet. Okay, hole in the ceiling. Strong, how could I have known, dude situation. I think if we would have gotten the beam upgrade I was talking about waiting for later, I think that is a good chance that that would accidentally reveal that in the ceiling, is my guess. I don't know for sure. I'm stopping here just to reveal the map to get those tiles. And look at this, what do you know? How could I have known, dude? This one, I have an explanation for. For 100%, absolutely, how could I have known? It's not even marked on the minimap. But if you look left, you can't actually go back left right now. So it's if you got down here and you were out of missiles, and you're like, well, I need 5 missiles to get through the hatch. That's there to save you. Now we get our speed booster. This lets us run really fast. We can destroy enemies and blocks when we're running through them. Let us do all sorts of fun stuff. We'll talk more about it the more we use it. Okay, and then we head back through the floor. Back through the floor. And I'm going to head through the middle again. I don't love going through these tubes, but this is the last time we're going to have to do it in this playthrough. I also don't have to kill these dudes. I can just roll right through them, take the damage, whatever. That's generally how I play Metroid, especially later once we have more energy. is, you know, it's just whatever you got to do to get through the room to get to the end. If it's faster, then that's what we're doing. We can use our fancy new speed booster to clear that pathway and bring us back to the main entrance of Norfair with all the hatches that we haven't messed with just yet. Still can't go through orange, but we can go through green, and we're just going to start running with our speed booster and beat these gates. Okay, be careful. That's one of those where your momentum will carry you right into the lava. Now, be observant on the left. I'm sorry, on the right. There are enemies that are coming out of the walls. Somehow I did not get hit there. If you go through that door, you cannot proceed. So instead, we go through where those enemies came out. Kind of an abstract path to take to get such an important item. The ice beam, absolutely mandatory. But again, it's about being observant and seeing those enemies coming out. And also there being no other way to go in this room. Again, a little goofy, but ultimately okay. So we can freeze enemies now and remove them from combat, which is nice. But more importantly, we can freeze enemies to stand on them. So we can use enemies as platforms now, like this. I guess this one we technically don't have to freeze, but I'll do it because I'm supposed to. Follow the rules. You can just go into the lava. High jump lets you get out of a lot of lava now. Oh, okay. Cool. Didn't quite get that guy. And now we're done with Norfair again. Again, we dipped in down here, we got what we needed, and now we once again leave. But we can freeze enemies to use as platforms, we can run really fast, and we can jump really high. All really big upgrades from where we started at the beginning of this mission. We go through Conspicuous Tube. Keep in mind that these 3 tiles are not part of the Brinstar map, they're separate. And now we can freeze these guys, which is handy just because getting pulled into those spikes can stun lock you down there. But now we can come up here. This is the upgrade I talked about waiting on getting just because we'd be coming back through here now. The Spazer, a.k.a. the Spazer Beam, a.k.a. Spazer Laser, a.k.a. the Wide Beam. But now we shoot 3 projectiles, and it makes it so that we're much less likely to miss just by pure accident. Which is nice and handy. Getting this before Kraid is also, it's nice. You know, getting it through so that we'd have it with when we're in Norfair is handy, but it's not necessary. So I didn't get it. We're just chilling here waiting for this fella to come back, and now we can climb Red Tower. So that's one point of no return that is no longer a point of no return. And rather than going back left because we still can't get through that gate, we're going to head up with our high jump boots. Through here. And don't yeet yourself into the spikes. And this is very much this is a test of mini jumps. Got to do some baby jumps here. There's sarlacc pits and spikes on the ceiling. So you have to do small jumps. And again, it's very easy to get stun locked in those types of rooms. It's harder than it looks to get out. It's harder than it looks to do the baby jumps, too. But with practice, you'll be able to get through them pretty consistently. Okay, we use our ice beam now to get across this. To get our next major upgrade, power bombs. Normally you get power bombs a lot later in newer Metroid games. They're treated like a super weapon. But in this case, you get them pretty early, which is nice because you can mask clear blocks. You can reveal hidden pathways a lot easier. Which I think is the main reason why they're treated the way they are in later games, because such a big part of it is just like finding those pathways in later games, so they don't want you revealing them too easily with power bombs. But in this case, again, there's so many abstract, weird ways to go that I think it's probably for the best that you get them now. I'm gonna break the lock on this door, but I don't need to go that way just yet. Instead, we're gonna head through here and save, because this is gonna be the end for today. Thanks everyone for watching, I appreciate you watching. Thanks everyone for watching, I appreciate you watching. Sure, we'll double it up. But this playthrough's been going pretty well so far. We got a lot of really important items. This video, I don't know if we'll have another video where we're collecting nearly as much in terms of important items in this type of density. But now we're heading up through at the top of Red Tower, and we're going to go a different way because we still can't get through that gate that's closed on the other side. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.